Okay then folks, and welcome to the beautiful Brookhouse Pool, which is owned by Bay Malton Angling Club. Now this venue is a little bit special and a little bit unique, certainly for me, in that it's only 5 or 10 minutes from my house. So I pick my boy Ollie up, after school, and we come in here for an hour or two. Daddy May comes with us as well, and it's not a prolific venue, which is what I want to focus on today, on these kind of venues where, I'm going to be fishing like our Banjo XR feeders today, or that style of sort of hybrid feeder over like a method. A method for me is great for up to 3 foot of water, but anything deeper, I mean this is sort of like 8 or 9 foot deep where I'm chucking, it's quite silty as well. That's when your Banjo XR hybrid style feeders really do come into play. Special venue for me, as I say, it's only sort of 5 or 10 minutes from my house. When that tip goes round or that float goes under, it's going to be something decent. It's going to be a decent tench, a decent bream, or a decent carp. I'm going to catch them in mud and roach, so aren't I? Or little baby skimmers. But no, the way I'm fishing, I'm not. I'm going to go all out. And when that tip goes around today, hopefully it's going to be something decent. Not going to get loads of bites, so we're going to do it in one. Crash course in one. But as I say, I don't want you looking at that tip for it might be an hour before we get a bite. So we'll pick up when we catch that fish. Now, one thing that is very unique at the minute about this water is the water clarity and how heavily coloured the actual water is. There's literally no visibility in the water at all. Now, that is why I wanted to bring you here to showcase our liquids, in all the glory, sort of like our krill and squid, our standout wafters, the bandum wafters. Obviously we'll go through bait and all that in a sec. I mean, as I said, clarity wise, I'm not really seeing that, but maybe a little bit of speck of colour from the floor or rocks or something like that will just grab their attention. But it's more to do with certainly the heavy flavours like the krill and squids and things like that. As I said, we're fishing the Banjo XR feeders today, so I'll talk you through the setup first and what we're using. So first things first, rod wise. Now I'm not chucking far out today. I say it's 8 or 9 foot deep where I'm casting, and it's probably about 25 metres up to 30 metres, something like that, just past the middle of the lake. Now, one thing that does happen on here, when the fish arrive in your peg, you do get quite a lot of bubbles because of the silt and that. So don't need to fish long rods. So I've just got a 10 foot Superior X rod with our softest tip in, half an ounce tip. 6 pound sinking feeder mono. Don't need to go any other than that really. And then the business end, reel size as well, sort of 4,000 size reel, 3,000 to be more than acceptable, but I just like to use a little bit of a bigger reel. I've got the Preston Magnitude reel on today, and as I say, 4,000 size, it's absolutely perfect. Now coming down to the business end, the Banjo XR feeders. Let me unhook that out of there. I'll put that rod, blooming in a tangle already folks. You can tell this is live, can't you? I took that under there. Now, basically free running feeder, so we've got a 30 gram feeder on, because when I get that bite, when that fish takes that bite, I want it to hook itself. I don't want to be using too lighter feeders, which I've said before in the past, when you're on sort of like silt, use a lighter feeder so it can potentially sit on top of the silt. Whereas today, when that big fish takes the bait, I just want to make sure it's on. Don't want to be losing any fish. Blooming said it now folks, and I don't want to be losing any fish. But yeah, our ICS system, I can change that. I can put a bigger feeder on. I've just got the small XR feeder on today, and I'm just going to be loading that with pellets. I'm going to be experimenting. I might want some to break off and attract the attention of fish through the water, but I want to make sure that I put a hard layer on first. We can go through that later. Hook length, you know how we work by now folks. I've just got one straight out of the packet. It's a 14s, what are we on, 14s MCM. To 0.19, as I said, with a spiker on. I believe with a spiker rather than a band, you just get a better presentation from them wafters. So it's personal preference at the end of the day. Now, obviously, colour-wise, in fact, let's do that next with the baits and colours. Now, one thing that I have done, obviously, we talked about this loads and how I prepare pellets. I've just done it the normal way. I've left them soaking for sort of like a minute, 90 seconds or something, drained them off in a landing net, a dead fine landing net, put them in a bucket or a bowl, get all that air into them, leave them another sort of 10 minutes and then they'll be right. And I've just taken some aside. I'll show you some here. I've just taken some aside that I did before, and I put some krill and squid haze on them. Now this, I think, is going to make a massive difference today because of how coloured the water is. using something like that. And the other thing I'll be doing as well is just before I cast out, I'll be putting that over the feeder, and I just think it's going to grab the attention of them fish. You know what I mean? As that feeder's falling through the water column, because it's got from in 8 or 9 foot to travel, it's going to be grabbing the attention of them fish. And obviously they're not necessarily going to be using the sight today because they can't let me see anything, but it's that scent going through the water. You'll see, like, we'll definitely see bubbles, so the fish 100% will be feeding. So something like the krill and squid, that really strong sort of pungent flavour, will hopefully grab their attention. We've got some fluoro rocks in there as well, in the 2 mils, you know what I mean, just to add that speck of colour. Now hook bait wise, as I said, I've got the krill and squid, we've got the fluoro wafters, and also, now pungent as well is the Power Scopex, you know, so any one of them. Usually I like to use sort of like the pinks and the oranges, but who knows, could be using any of them today. The other thing that makes a massive difference for me is timings as well. Yeah, I'll be talking to you a lot about timings today and using a watch. What I like to do first is get a little bit of bait in. So I'll be doing sort of 3 5-minute casts, get a little bit of bait in, build the peg up, and then it'll be a cast around every sort of 8 to 10 minutes. I really like to keep in check of when I'm getting them bites. Usually the bites are within sort of 10 minutes. I'm going to say 10 minutes. But sometimes I might be waiting a little bit longer. But what I want to make sure I'm doing is keep putting that bait in, especially because of the colour of the water. The more sort of frequency of the casting, what that's going to do, especially with the scent trail of that krill and squid, hopefully it's going to draw fish in. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love venues like this, folks, where it's not like your typical commercial. It's not like prolific. Don't get me wrong. There's flipping millions of fishing. If I was to fish maggots and casters, I'd get an absolute fisher chuck. But I want to target the bigger fish that are near. So yeah, we could have gone to a commercial and got this wrapped up, and me and Jakey could have been in the pub by like dinner time. But you know what, folks, I want to come and showcase how good these sort of like club control waters are. So Bay Malton on this one, and they're just superb. I love coming on here with Daddy May and my lad. It's just brilliant for like an hour or two, just catching the odd big fish, and they're all like, they're immaculate, the fish. They're absolutely stunning. So I really do hope we get into them Tench, Bream or Carp. So I think without further ado, we need to make some casts and come and see if we can catch some fishes. There we go then, folks. I was not expecting that so quick. Literally, that's my second chuck now. You saw I was getting the odd liner. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. I was getting the odd liner, wasn't I? So like, I just thought I'd leave it that little bit longer. As I said, this when I first started, I want to give it like 3 5-minute casts, but that's my second chuck, that, and they're fishing like mad out there. Yes, blimey, I was not expecting that. Oh my days, what a bite as well. I said normally it's up to like an hour before you get a bite on it, and then you'll normally catch. Well, you don't catch loads of fish. I don't know what this is. I reckon it might be a tench fish, you know. It's fighting a bit jagged. It's either a tench or a carp. I'm going to go Thomas. Go on, be a Thomas, be a Thomas. Go on, be a Thomas, be a Thomas, be a Thomas. Yeah, go on, it's Thomasy. Can you believe that? Oh my days, folks, that is exactly in one there why I fish these kind of lakes. So let me get him unhooked. Or her, it's a her. Go on, the female Tom. No, it's not a female Thomas, it's a female Tina, isn't it? Look at the state of this beauty, folks. There's Jakey with them cameras. Let me come round here. There he is. Let me tuck that. Let me get that out of the way. I'm all of a blooming kerfuffle, aren't I? I can't believe we've had one that quick. Literally 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Look at the state of that beauty. Isn't she just absolutely stunning? I just love this venue, folks. It's like, so many special memories for me, you know what I mean? It's where I first started fishing with my dad, and then obviously I'm bringing my lad now, and my little girl as well. It's just so good. So I'm going to get her released. Oh God, I can't believe that, folks. That does not normally happen. So as I say, I usually like to have 3 5-minute casts, but we're just having a few liners, and obviously I've seen signs of fish. You can see him still fishing out there. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to leave it, and obviously second cast and it's gone. What a fish that was. Oh, I'm all of a diddle. Right, so I am gonna bait up again, and you know what else I'm convinced with? Krill and squid. I'm convinced it's that haze that's attracting these fish in, because they can't blooming say anything, so obviously they can't really rely on sight. I know I've, you know, obviously got the different coloured hook baits in that, and I've got, like, you know, the little specks of colour through the pellets, but it can only be that haze. It's got to be that. So I'm going to show you again how I load them. I'm just going to get a hook bait on over this way. I'm going to put because obviously, you know, I want it to be as fresh and as sort of like stand out as possible. I'm going to change that hook bait every time. So I'm going to go on with a pink one again. I'm going to come round here and show you what I'm doing again. You know what? I'm going to put a little bit. I'm going to put some colour in. Some krill and squid on that hook bait as well first. I'm just going to put them in the micros. Put a tiny bit on there, so you can see there's a tiny little bit dripping on there. It can only help, can't it? And as you saw before, so the first thing I'm going to do, load that up, is put a hard layer on my feeder first. Yes, I've got a rock hard layer on that's going to, you know, keep obviously bait on the bottom, bait in the area where the fish are coming into and feeding off that top pile of bait. My little Bandon wafter is going to go in there. Make sure I just tuck that down, and then I've already loaded the mould up. That goes in over the top like that. Give that a proper squeeze. Put them back, and then obviously the other thing that I'm going to make sure I do every single cast is get the old krill and squid on. I have got some washed out, which is like proper potent Scopex as well, folks, but I don't think you can put enough of this on, so I'm going to give that a good glug, and that, I'm convinced, is what's making the difference. If we catch another one fairly quick, then 100% it is, and I can see them fizzing out there again. Oh, perfect, folks, absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe that's gone so quick. Here's me saying it's going to take up to an hour to get a blooming bite. And we've got 1 second chuck, so I'm going to stop that watch again, reset that. That'll be my third cast. It's going to be sort of 10-12 minute casts now, I reckon. But oh, blooming neck. Yeah, excuse me for getting so giddy, folks, but I absolutely adore it. Venues like this where, yeah, I could fish like my natural baits, maggots and casters, and get a fish absolutely every chuck. It's rammed with like roach and skimmers and perch. But I just love the fact that you can come here and you can target these like decent, better fish like the Tench, Bream, Carp. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal, and as I say, it just brings back so many memories. These kind of little nicky-nacky new venues, I like to call them, around where I grew up, sort of like Goosery, Holmes Chapel, Middlewich, places like that. I just absolutely adore them. I can't get enough of them. And obviously I'm relaying all that information onto my lad and my little girl now. It's something special about that, folks. I think it's brilliant. It really is. Especially on days like this as well, when it's finally not blooming raining, you know what I mean? All it seems to do at the minute is rain and hail, but we've had a right beautiful morning so far. Hopefully we'll get snarled up in some more yet, folks. Hey up. There's another little dinky dang ding dang diddly do then. So if this goes round quick, then obviously 100% is the pulling power of that haze, that krill and squid. Yeah, go on then. Well, that did not take long at all, folks, and it just, well, what we're on, 1 minute and 36 seconds. Now, if that doesn't prove the pulling power of that krill and squid, I do not know what does. There's fish fizzing on it as well out there, still fizzing. I think this is another decentish fish. Might be a bream, this one, you know, folks. I think this is a bream. Not fighting like a tench, it's definitely not a carp. There's some nice breaming. Oh yes, it just goes to prove, doesn't it, that pulling power of that krill and squid. Look at that, folks. Love it. Oh, aye, look at him. Yes! I said we'd either catch a tench, a bream, of a carp. We've had a tench, now we've got a bream. Look at the state of that, folks. What an absolute, what a stunner. I can't believe how this session's going. I really can't. Normally we're waiting ages for a bite. That is just ridiculous. Oh my days. Right, let me get the hook out of him and show you the stamp of these bream in here. So I mean, everything's so decent. That's the beauty of this water. Patient fishing. Don't even need to be blooming patient, do we? Look at the size of that. Absolute stunning. But that is not a skimmer, folks. I don't care if you're from down south, that is not a skimmer. That is a boweem. Probably 3.5, maybe getting on for £4. Proper chunky fish. Absolute immaculate. Look at it. It's probably not been caught before until I came along. So let's get that. Keep that in my landing there. And I just want to turn round and just talk to you for a sec about these kind of venues. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you're coming to these kind of venues, that's what we want to get across, like Banjo XR, sort of hybrid style feeders, deep water, where you're keeping sort of that bait in your feeder, aren't you? And what you've got to do is try and force them fish into making that decision to eat your bait. And obviously that is, I'm convinced, where, you know, the likes of the haze, the krill and squid comes into it. Because I've been on these kind of venues before, maybe not as much coloured as this, but coloured venues where I've not had it, and it's definitely not been as successful as that. Certainly, right, this venue in particular, folks, I fish it all the time. As I said, me and my lad and my dad come on here all the time, and we might catch 2 or 3 fish in like a couple of hours. You know what I mean? It's nothing like what I've had today. What's that, 2 fish in like, well, less than 20 minutes, and I know what I'll be using next time, folks. But yeah, I'm going to carry on catching some more fish. Hopefully I'll get snarled up in them carp, but if not, I don't mind catching one of them and chuck on some more tuna tenches. If you've liked what you've seen, folks, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and obviously that's going to tell you when we're putting fabulous videos out like this. Let me get us back and snarled up in them fishes, folks. Yes!